Hey everybody, it's Mark, DoctorDeadwax, and it's time for another video. This is going to be Out of the Inbox 9. This is all VCLT from Shawn Music Miner. I met up with Shawn at a record show recently, and he gave me this nice stack of VCLT, and rather than just show it, I wanted to listen to it and kind of sink my teeth into it and find what I liked and didn't and talk about it, and so it's taken me about a month to do it. I've been really busy, family stuff and everything, but anyway, so I'm having a left-hand Brewing Nitro Milk Stout, as usual, and cheers, Shawn. Thanks a lot. Great stack of music. Really appreciate it. I have some stuff for you. I don't know if you're coming to the next shows down here or maybe the one we went to in early spring. Anyway, we'll figure it out. So not everything, nothing here was bad, but not everything here is quite what I will listen to again. Let's just put it that way. Here's one. This is the Ace of Rhythm, Jabbo Smith and his Rhythm Aces. This is on Ace of Hearts Records. This is a UK mono pressing from, I think this is reissue from '74, something like that. Great sounding record, beautiful copy. Just not my kind of jazz. It's kind of New Orleansy, that kind of swing ragtime kind of. Great example of it. I listened to the whole thing. Just wasn't my bag. Here's another one that in the end wasn't for me either, and I really thought it would be, especially when I looked up and read a bit about what this was. This is La Révolution Française. Well, that's just terrible. And as you can see, it's a rock opera. So this is a story. This is the story of the French Revolution made into a rock opera, and it has a nice booklet in here with drawings and stuff to go along with the storyline. This is a French original pressing on the Vogue label. Now, I typically love French. That has custom label. I don't know if I said that. I typically love kind of French-based music, but I guess I'm more drawn to stuff that's kind of progressive, and while I don't need to understand what's going on in the vocals, even though I can read a little French, I really can't hear French very well. I don't have an ear for it as much as I can read some of it. In the music I like, it's the music it engages to the point that not understanding what's being said is not a problem, and the vocals per se add to the music even though you don't comprehend them. This is a little bit more, this is not a rock opera like Tommy. This is not, you know, rock operas are varied. I think it's used a little loosely here. It's almost pop. You know, the closest thing I could think of is maybe more like Phantom or something like that. This would, I don't know, not quite show tunes, but anyway, it was an interesting listen. It's just not really for me. I have to find a good home for that one, because that's an interesting record, and actually, you know, not cheap either. Next is this is another weird one. This is Masao Shi Takanaka, the Rainbow Goblins. This is a Japanese pressing, 2 LP set, complete with OBI. This is on the Kitty label. I'm not sure if there's a better record label ever than the Kitty label. If I put this up on Facebook, it would get 1 million likes just because it was the Kitty label. Also comes with this color insert. There's an illustration of the man playing guitar, and that, and What a nice illustrated inside. So the Rainbow Goblins is a Japanese story, I think about 7 goblins who are all different colors. In fact, why they're the colors of the rainbow. And this is definitely a peculiar record. It has each song kind of starts with like a minute-long dialogue section telling part of the story of the 7 goblins, or the Rainbow Goblins, and then that's 2 LPs. Did I say that? And then the music begins, and the music has no vocals. It's all instrumental. It's all really interesting. So it's kind of this record's kind of part children's story, part jazz, disco, funk, prog LP. Definitely part audiophile, production lover's wet dream. It's all over the map. I find the dialogue sections in between the music a little kind of sucks you away from it, and I find the production a little bit glossy. Would be the term I would use. Slick, but actually the music's kind of excellent. So I'm kind of back and forth on the fence about this. I got to listen to it a few more times before I finally decide where it's gonna fit in my life. But really unusual but interesting record. That's a really good one. Next is I've seen this guy's records before and I've never bought them. This is Stephen Halpern, Eastern Peace. Now this is kind of one song, both sides, done in various acts or chapters or whatever. And Stephen Halpern, I think, put out like 65 records or something on his own label, and it's called Halpern Sound. And so kind of keyboard-driven new age music. I've never bought his records because they've been described as kind of, I don't know, generic, I think somebody once told me. Anyways, this is actually pretty good. It's so the Eastern Peace side of things kind of has some Indian influence and some Asian influences brought into it. Tibetan bells, Chinese gong temple, bamboo flute, tambura, string bass. So actually this is definitely going to get a few more listens. I liked it. Next is a trio of Windham Hill records. First is Windham Hill Sampler. I've talked about Windham Hill records before. They're all kind of Quiax because you can see the flashlight through them. Quiax is like a superior vinyl that has no carbon in it, and the reason why it has some color is because dye is put into it. Typically it's a russety brown color when you shine a light through it. Sometimes it's blue or purple. That's just a different dye. Anyway, so this is a sampler. This has you know, like Shadowfax, Michael Hedges, Mark Isham. Anyway, you know, it's a sampler. It sounds great. There's some excellent stuff on here. It's got George Winston on it. I think I've got enough George Winston in my eardrums to last me eternity. But what was good about this was On the Threshold of Liberty by Mark Isham is on here. And it's off his record Vapor Drawings, which I've never listened to, and I've kind of always hesitated to listen to. But I really enjoyed that song, so listening to this is definitely going to get me to visit that Mark Isham album when I come across it in my boxes. And the Aerial Boundaries, I mean, that's just a sonic masterpiece. Buy that record on Windham Hill, everybody. Also on there was this William Ackerman Passage. This is a digital recording on Windham Hill, and William Ackerman plays guitar. He's not Michael Hedges, by any means, but he's really interesting. Acoustic guitar, kind of, you know, that slightly new agey acoustic guitar sound. Great record. I really enjoyed that. And third one was Turtle Island String Quartet, Metropolis. And this, again, is Windham Hill. And all three of them came in Windham Hill sleeves. And as you can see, this is where my sleeve comes from, the idea for the Deadwax, you know, sleeve that I have all the time. These, you know, this idea was picked up by, you know, countless sleeve manufacturers after this point, and they still make them today. So Turtle Island String Quartet, never heard of these guys, never seen this Windham Hill record. It's kind of classical, maybe pop classical. I don't quite know how to call that. Violin and viola, violin and low violin, cello and violin, and it's wonderful. I'm definitely going to be listening to this again. Classical, I'd never really listened to it and want to keep listening to it, but that it sounds great and I really enjoyed it. So that one's definitely staying in the collection. Next, fantastic, Nash the Slash, Bedtime Companion. This is an original pressing of Nash the Slash's first release after he left FM. This is an EP before he released his first record, and this is on Cutthroat Records. This has JAMF in the Deadwax, which is just another mastering facility. I don't know if I can get it to show. No, I can't. Anyway, JAMF, just another mastering facility, and the Target, the capital Target logo is also in the Deadwax, so that means mastered at JAMF and manufactured at the Capital plant in Canada. 1970, I can't remember exactly. I think it's 1978. Also interesting is this is on, even though it's on Cutthroat, mastered at the Capital plant. This is WRC, which is World Record Corp. And of course, Nash the Slash, this bandaged violin player who was an FM and had his own solo career, who basically did it all without a label for almost his entire career. Most of everything he released on his own. Promoted himself. Here he is here on this tip-in sheet, and then because he had like a wicked sense of humor, the lyric sheet on the back, of course, it's completely blank because this is 4 tracks. 2 tracks on each side of this 45 RPM 12-inch that are instrumental, and instrumental in that kind of craft work, almost electronic kind of sound. Nash went a little bit more new wave. I don't know what the hell to say. He went a little bit more something later, but this is really early kind of combination electronica and wonderfulness, and performed on electric violin, mandolin, electronic percussion, alka, glockenspiel, and numerous devices. And written and produced by Nash the Slash on a TIAC 3340S at Cutthroat Studios, which was probably his living room. And fuck, amazing. I hadn't heard this in 30 years. So, 30 years? 25 years? I don't know how the hell long it's been. I haven't heard this since I was in high school, so that's at least 30 years. Thank you very much. That is a keeper. Next, another fantastic record. This is John Martin. Hello? I'm still here. This is John Martin live at Leeds, and this is a UK pressing on the Island label. And I don't quite know what the story is with this pressing. So here, just do it here. See if this focuses. Camera's moody today. There it is. So you can see it's just a plain kind of white label, but there is the ILPS number /A, indicating that this is released by Island Records, and it's A1 stamper on one side and B3 stamper on the other. So it's pretty damn close to first press. Down here on the back is a spot for a limited edition number. So supposedly these were released initially mail order only from John Martin, and you would send your money to John Martin, and John and or Beverly Martin would send you a numbered one with a note from either John or Beverly. Apparently this like when I posted this online, a bunch of people said this was kind of the last good thing John Martin did, and he really went down and drowned himself in the bottle after this point. So now I don't know if this release was ever re-released commercially, so and maybe that's why it's not numbered, or maybe John got so far down the bottle he didn't number them, but it doesn't really matter because it's a great package. It's just completely white, and the labels are just completely white. It's not numbered. It doesn't have anything but any tip-in or anything from John or John or Beverly Martin, but it fucking killer record. And it's just great to have this because there's a couple things on here that I've been trying to get for a hell of a long time, and I've never gotten them because they're super expensive, and one of them is Solid Air. So now I actually have a recording of Solid Air, which is just great, and there's a kind of an incredibly racy little dialogue between John and a member of his band on in between one of the tracks. Anyway, this is fucking glorious. Total. Thank you, Shawn. Brilliant. And then finally, this Shawn gave me this. This has been on my eBay Save Search list for years. It no longer is. It's Say What Kiting, and this is on Listen Close Records out of New York City. Some people say this is a Canadian band. I'm not sure this is a Canadian band. I think this is a US band. Here is the Listen Close label, and here's another great Quiet pressing. You see this, how this one kind of has the blue tint to the vinyl, and this is jazz, acoustic jazz fusion, I would say would be the best way to describe it. And there's a reason why it was on my list, because it's fucking fantastic. This is just a killer kind of slightly new age jazz fusion acoustic record. I just love it. Thank you so much, Shawn. This is just a killer package of VCLT, and I can't thank you enough. And you know, I can definitely tell that you you know what I like, and you put together a package of stuff that you thought would pique my ears, and it all did. Not all of it's going to stay with me, but a hell of a lot of it is, and a couple of these things are just total prizes in my collection now, so I can't thank you enough. And one of them had a Peter Dunne's Vinyl Museum inner sleeve, and this predates his religious mania because there are no Bible quotes on it. So this is going into my Peter Dunne collection because I have a Peter Dunne collection. Anyway, thanks again, Shawn. It was great to meet you at that show. I'm really looking forward to meeting you again. Maybe we can hang out, grab a meal, grab a beer, do something next time. Have a great day, everybody. Have a great day, everybody. Keep the record spinning.